That's why my eyes look puffy.
You look rested. Hello. Good morning.
I don't know if my armpits are... I don't think my...
Are they shaved today?
Listen, y'all gonna get whatever armpits that you got, okay? That's it. Okay? Because we rose out the bed and we get here.
That's right. At least we here.
That's something to be proud of on a Saturday. Sábado gigante! So you know what we're going to do is our intro to Keena and Britt.
On the spiritual tip.
Where we talk about some spiritual. All right. So it's funny. Okay, so now this is where I can unpack.
Okay, yes.
So Brittany came to me with this topic. The topic today is we're embracing the dark, right?
Yeah, we're embracing the dark.
Shadow work. Yeah. And when she first brought it to me, I was like, in my head, I was like, how we going to unpack this? Right? So it's so funny how things align because I think that was like, what, Tuesday or Wednesday?
Yeah, like Tuesday.
And then the full moon came and slapped me up beside my head.
Did it really? I was tired. I was really tired.
It slapped me upside my head. And I was dark this week. Like I was like, so it was really, it's so funny because I feel like I was like in my low moments this week. Mm-hmm. And when I read your intro, I said, well, it's very aligned right now. But I already knew I was going to do shadow work because my last day of work was Friday.
I just pushed you a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to unpack this.
All right, let's unpack it then.
All right. So I think you should tell everybody what shadow work is.
All right. So the topic is shadow work.
Yeah.
It sounds scary. It's not scary, y'all. Just relax.
It's emotionally scary.
So what I found on the internet.
Yes.
I'm going to read what I found on the internet.
On the internet. Research.
Your shadow side can have a negative impact on your well-being when you ignore it or reject it. Mm-hmm. This part of yourself craves to be understood and explored. This is because it was ignored and possibly shamed throughout your whole life. Even if it was less dramatic, we don't feel mentally and emotionally at our best when our shadow is not integrated into ourselves.
Yeah. Which
to say, when the shadow and self are far apart. Mm-hmm. So really what shadow work is basically discovering the parts of us that we hide away because we're ashamed of, right?
Yeah.
It's basically ego, in a sense, right? It's ego. It's, well, you can get to
your unconscious.
Yeah.
You're unconscious of things that we don't.
Right. So to give you a better sense, what's the benefits of shadow work?
So benefits: gain confidence, self-esteem.
Yeah.
Definitely, because I feel like every time after you're done, you feel better.
You do.
Yeah. Improve creativity, because sometimes you have brain fog. Like sometimes I suffer from brain fog because we got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a good one. Build better relationships with others. Definitely, yeah. Practice self-acceptance. Yeah. Discover hidden talents all the way. Improve overall wellness. Increase compassion to others. And my favorite one that I really did shadow work for the past couple of days is clarity.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good for that.
It gets foggy.
It does.
It gets foggy. So clarity is very important, especially when you're trying to figure out which way you're going to go next.
I agree. It's basically call yourself out on your own bullshit. That's what it is.
Yeah. And the overthinking and am I doing too much? Am I doing too little? Show me the way, So what can happen when you ignore your shadow side? So this is where I was like,
really?
Yeah, self-loathing. What?
Yeah, self-loathing.
I self-loathe more than people now.
Yeah.
I think because it's my confidence. People get confused when I do talk about, my fears or what I'm like, what I don't feel good about, Also, poor self-esteem. Mm-hmm. This is what can happen when you ignore your shadow side. Self-deceit, deceiving others. Oh, yeah. Not me, I'm just saying in general. Anxiety and depression, definitely for me. Offensive behavior toward others, struggling to have
a little hostile towards others.
Struggling to have healthy relationships with others. Self-sabotage.
Oh, I do that.
That's a big one. Self-absorption. That could be
for me.
An inflated ego. And yeah, so we're gonna dive deep. So Brittany,
I bailed for this, just to let y'all know.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Because I was like, But I also want to be transparent in my journey because I think sometimes people think we have it all together, especially me. Let me speak from I think people think I have it all together, but it gets dark. It's actually easier for me to go dark than light. I work hard to be light. Darkness is something I think because of my upbringing and just me being sometimes feeling like the black sheep. It's just easier for me to go there.
It's funny because it's so opposite for me, but it's not good. that I try to be so positive all the time. Like, I have to integrate my dark because there's no light without dark, right?
Yeah, and I think
doesn't make sense.
I'm definitely the opposite of you. I feel like sometimes I'm too in the dark, and it can really stunt my trajectory because it's like, you're fine. What's wrong with you?
Right.
Like, you know, like, you need to unpack your inner child stuff and like what makes you act like that or think like that.
Why are you doing that?
Right. Yeah. Okay, so when you hear the phrase shadow work, what exactly comes to your mind?
I have to be very honest. I'm very reluctant to do shadow work. I hate calling myself out on things. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It's annoying. It's daunting. It makes me be like, damn, so I'm not perfect. I thought I was. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's taxing. When I hear the word shadow work, it's like, it's work to be done. Yeah. For me, personally, it's just work I know I have to do, but I just don't want to be doing it. That's me being transparent and honest. Like, I don't want to do it sometimes. I really don't. And I think I said this before in my on my Instagram. I made like a video, and I was like, you know, sometimes I hide from it. Like, I purposely do not do it because it is just so much for me.
And it's days. So I think too, when I hear shadow work, it means like get low. And I mean, also too, when I hear shadow work, I hear tears. Like, I cry.
Yeah.
I'm a crier.
I heard it's darkness.
It's darkness. And just exposing, not so much that I don't like doing it. I just know, like you said, it's taxing. I know that it might cause me, even though I'm already feeling emo, it might cause me to go even more emo.
Yeah. Can I just say something real quick? Because I watched this man on Instagram. His name is The Blood Healer.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that.
So he's actually a blood, but he's also like a healer. Just watch his stuff. Just
I'm
go
gonna
on his Instagram.
I'm gonna look him up because I like that.
I just happened to jump on his Instagram live the other day, and the title of his Instagram live was "Don't Stare in the Mirror Too Long." So he was basically saying, yes, do your shadow work, but also you have to microdose, like you were saying, like, but in a different sense, right? So microdosing your shadows, because if you stay there too long and if you introspect too long, you can get swallowed by it. And it can drown you. Yeah. And you forget to live in the now, and you're always living in the past of what you did wrong and all these bad things.
What happened to you.
What happened to you. You're not your trauma kind of thing. So I suggest you guys go to The Blood Healer on Instagram if you're interested in that, because he's
I'm
very,
gonna look him up.
very smart.
I like that.
Very intelligent black man.
I need to see that. Yeah, because that's true.
I think he saved it. I hope he saved it.
I think that's true. I definitely. Oof. I just could relate. It's so fun. I just feel like I could relate to the subject so much because of like the past.
She was so giddy before we got here. She was like, I can't wait to do this one.
Yeah, I cannot wait because I literally had my own session yesterday. You know, it started from like Thursday, and then I also had Michael do shadow work with me.
Okay, so speak about that a little bit before we get into like the other questions.
So yesterday, I've been feeling like I've been self-loathing a lot. Kind of just also like in this cloudy area of my life where I'm like, okay, I know that I'm like in my career and I know I'm doing things and I'm, you know, I'm making money for myself, but like, you know how sometimes you can be hard on yourself, like, well, what else should I be doing, right? And then I think just the monotony of like work and just working hard and sometimes feeling like, not that you're stagnant, but like basically it's not moving fast enough, right? Like you see yourself somewhere and you're like, why don't I feel like I could touch it yet, you know? But then it always goes back to like my childhood. It always goes back to what I've been through. I always start to feel like I start self-loathing. I start blaming like my parents for having me. Like, it's like it goes down a whole freaking rabbit hole. And it sends me to a really dark place. And it sends me like questioning, like, what am I doing? Like, why am I working so hard for what? Like, what's this going to lead me to? Is it even going to happen, you know?
That happens for me too.
Mind you, I already know, like, on the other hand of it, the light side, I know I'm a master alchemist. So it's like, but why do I do that, right?
Because you're human.
Because we're human. And I think it affects all, like, the whole of me. I don't really want to do too much. I want to like lay in bed. I don't really want to see people. I don't feel my best. I don't feel like I look my best, you know? Yeah. I feel like it's weighing on me. So yesterday I was like, I already knew I was going to do work. So yesterday I went to the Botanica. I know that a lot of my vibrations come from my ancestral DNA. Okay. So my goal for yesterday was to start pushing it out. Cause yeah, we do like work to break trauma and things like that. But like, I felt like I needed to really do something that was aimed towards the vibration of my ancestors. Yeah. to break it.
Yeah.
So I went and got some ancestral blends. I actually meant to put it on Instagram. I also got like a other blend that had like the ball of Gilead, which is really good for like pain and because I feel like I walk around with a lot of pain and people don't know that. Like that's an underlying vibration of me where it's like I'm happy, but sometimes I feel like an alien.
Side note: I love bringing the ancestor blend.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. So
and star anise in it.
Yes, and I did. I put a little extra star anise in it. Funny that you say that. And then I put in a yellow candle. Okay. And I write out my candles. So I wrote a couple things. I wrote like 6 or 7 things, just releasing different areas of trauma that I think that I have. You know. But then on top of that. It was a whole session. I also...
But wait, there's more.
Did some psilocybins. I think that's how you say it. So I did some shrooms. And...
It was guided. It was, right?
It was amazing.
It was guided and it was monitored.
And it was monitored.
Okay. Be smart about it, people. Do it the right way.
Yeah. I mean, the beautiful thing is that it's natural. So don't, you got to make sure you know what you're doing it for. So I knew exactly what my intention was. It was to unlock and unbreak and to dig deep into some things that are deep hidden in my personal life or my unconscious. Okay. I want to. And bitch.
Well, I would love to experience that one day.
I was sitting on my bed looking up and you can literally see all the spiritual aura. I could see it waving back and forth. So there's 3 major points I remember. I remember a lot more, but the first one was like, ooh, this was crazy. The first one was like, why do you act like this? Like I could feel them come down and kind of like in my ear, like, why are you acting like this? You're protected. And I remember looking up and just seeing like auras and colors on top of my bed. It was almost like I was under the ocean. So say you're on the ocean
I know what you mean.
And you're on the ground and you're looking through the water up and you can see like that's how it was for me.
Pretty.
It was crazy, but I could also feel like things lifting from me going to the top of the ocean, like going to the surface, which to me is symbolic.
It is symbolic.
So at one point it's like, stop acting like this. Like, you're protected. Look up. So on top of me seeing like ocean water, I also see like spirit figments flying on top of me, very bright, very white, some blue. It was crazy. And then another point, as I'm looking through I'm looking through water, right? I start shivering. Cold. Like the craziest coldness came over me.
This is the first time I'm hearing this story, by the way.
Yeah. The cold came over me. This is last night. The cold came over me and then I just started crying. Because it could do that. It opens you up, right? I just started bawling. And in the moment, in that same moment, I was feeling cold, and it was like, then it took me back. I remember looking at my hands, and they looked like, my hands are really small, but it looked like I was little, like my hands looked like a little girl. And I was like, oh my God, this is weird, right? And the next turn, I'm like, why am I feeling like this and crying? I said, it was like, look at yourself, right? And I'm like, oh my God, I be feeling alone in my regular life because I used to feel alone growing up.
Wow.
Cold and alone. I just felt,
ooh.
Yeah. I was like, this is crazy. Yeah. And then it was like, then another figment came down. It wasn't like it was faces. It was just like auditory and like seeing spirits, kind of like seeing auras and like on top of me. And then it was like different rainbows too and stuff. It was crazy. And at the same time, I'm hearing them say like, you're setting your own path. You are not your parents. And what they did is what they did. And now you know better. So you're going to do better. Stop putting that pressure on yourself. Like, just stop. And they were like, it was crazy. Because then I started crying again. And they were like, we gave you somebody to break that curse. Michael was next to me. So I look at him and I start bawling.
I looked at him.
I just start bawling. I was like, they were like, you're fine. Relax. Like, so I was just, and I think I fell asleep just bawling. And I woke up today and I was like, damn, I was well rested. But, and that's only like the few points I remember, but that stuck out to me.
But there's so much more.
But there's so much more. I couldn't believe, I was telling Mike, I'm like, you don't see that? Like, you don't see all the spiritual fucking energy on top of this bed right now? Like, you don't see it? And he was like, he's tripping on himself.
His own thing.
But, me, I already knew my intention. And I'm just like...
So would you say going into it with an intention makes it better?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. I knew I had a whole, like... People understand we have rituals. I had a whole ritual. Yeah. Like, I put on all my candles.
You did your duty.
I cleaned the house. I saged my house. You know what I'm saying? I did my ancestral altar. Then I took a pause, watched the show, and then I stopped, and then I put on meditation bowls, the sound bowl. For healing, for ancestral healing, and then I did my ancestral candle. I let Michael do his candle too, because I did his for like something else. I don't need to express it to everybody, but and the sound bowls were going the whole time, and then I dropped. Then I took my mushrooms after I was done with the candle, because I wanted to make sure I was clear-headed when I made my candle, and I was getting tired, so I was like, let me do it now, because I don't want to drop, and then I don't want to do the shrooms, and then I'm like, ooh, you know. Yeah. And I'm happy I did, because...
Somebody get me some shrooms.
Yeah,
I need to experience that.
Yeah, and I did it under the full moon, so that was really important to me.
That's probably why it came through so heavy.
Yeah, it was, and the full moon's in Aquarius, and a lot of my placements are Aquarius.
Yes.
So, honey child, sister girl, it was an experience.
That's awesome.
But I feel so much better after.
And she looks so glowy and dewy today.
Yeah, thanks. I got a little bit of eggs. Because, honey... But I felt really raw. Like, I feel very raw rested. So I definitely... Listen, if you have a chance, look at the documentary, How to Change Your Mind. It's on Netflix. And they talk about hallucinogens.
Ooh.
And they talk about the history of it and why it was taken off the market. You know, it can really turn it can really help with, like, depression, anxiety. Like, it unlocks certain parts, helps you to dig deep and figure out. It's good for shadow work.
Why they take it off the market, though? That's crazy, right?
Yeah, because there's no money in that. There's no money in that if you can get it from nature.
There's also a book called How to Change Anyone's Mind, and they talk about hallucinogens, too.
Yes.
In that book. And I have to figure out who the author is. I forgot. But, yeah. All right.
And I think also to have a book with Thomas Lear. I forgot what it's called, but look him up. He's a really huge person in psychobacillins and hallucinogens and things like that. Very LSD, all that. I mean, I don't do that, but you know. But yeah. So
Woodstock.
Let's go back. Yeah.
All right, let's go back to the question.
So let's go back. What is a shadow, dark aspect of yours that you've realized?
Oh, I put that question. For me, one of them, I have many, but one that sticks out the most for me is control.
Oh, that's another thing that came up in my thing.
Really?
Oh my God, girl, bitch. I forgot.
Girl, bitch.
I forgot. That came up today. Like, you've been trying to control your life since your dad left. Get the fuck together and stop. Chill the hell out.
So yeah, that's one of my aspects, my dark aspects. Yeah, I try to control a lot.
I think we agree on that point. I think you and me are very similar on that.
Yeah.
I think we're very similar.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Not there yet. Not even gonna lie to you. Still want to control every single thing, but that's a big, if not the biggest, aspect that I need to work on. Because it trickles down to everything else.
It does,
just
and
everything else.
It messes up the vibration of, like, what's gonna happen for you.
Yeah, and the flow.
The flow of things, the ebb and flow.
So yeah.
Yeah, when I did that definitely came up. It was like, you've been trying to control your life and your narrative since your dad left.
I don't know where mine comes from.
Yeah, I wonder where yours comes from.
I don't know. I'm still figuring. I have been very honest with myself to just say when I don't know something these days. Just say, if you don't know it, you don't know it. And honestly, I don't know where it comes from.
I think I know. Mine's embedded from my mom, because she definitely likes control.
Yeah.
Yeah. From growing up, she was just like, had to control everything. And not in a, like, necessarily it was negative. It's just like, she wanted to control. I think even down to, like, sometimes my dad. Because my dad had a social life, and she wasn't as outgoing as he was, So I think it'd be like, you don't gotta go do that. And then be like, in retrospect now as an adult, I'm like, but that's healthy. You should have your own things to do.
Yes.
So yeah, I think a dark aspect for me is my self-loathing.
Okay.
I self-loathe and I get depressed.
For me, for some reason, it just feels like all of them tie in together. Like, they all work with each other. Like, you could be self-loathing because you want to control things too much, and then you send yourself into, like, this, you know what I mean?
That's me.
Like, it's all these gears that work together.
What she just said.
I feel like that.
She must be reading me, because literally that's what it is. I be trying to control, and I'm like, but why am I not there? And then it's like, it's because of the freaking lineage, and what the fuck, And then it just goes, I go down the dark rabbit hole. And honestly, the only person that really gets affected by that, I think truly, is Michael, because he's around me. And it's just like, sometimes I look at him, I'm like, this is just too much, you know?
This too much.
But he's patient, so that's cool. But yeah.
So then what are so you did the shrooms, right? That's like ritualistic because you did a whole thing before that.
I did.
What other than yesterday, have you done shadow work before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what kind of rituals do you do for shadow work? You don't got to get too personal because, you know, ritualistic things are sacred and your work is your practice.
And these motherfuckers who want to hate and watch ain't going to do nothing to me. I'm protected. Yeah. I saw it yesterday.
Well, yes, but I'm just saying, you know.
But I know what you mean. But I wish you would try.
Wish you would try.
For the ones that are great, you know what I mean. Yeah. But so today also, I feel like I always incorporate spiritual baths.
Yes, that's your thing. I got that from you.
Yeah, so when I purge, I definitely have to do a bath. I do a lot of like 3-day, because it's a lot of like spiritual work is intense.
It is.
And it's very...
And sometimes you don't want to fucking do it.
You sound like Aaliyah.
My so annoying sometimes, because God be like, you got it. I'm like, really?
But it be looking at you.
Yes.
They be looking at you.
Oh, God.
And you be feeling the twinge. Yeah. You be like, I know.
And I be so tired sometimes. I'm like, damn, I really got to do this.
And I don't want to creep y'all out, but then I guess because I've been working on my clarity and like my, you know, just like clearing a lot of stuff. Like I've been seeing a lot of stuff. Yeah. It started like this week. Like girl,
I can't wait to tell you after this.
Yeah.
I heard something this morning. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been intense. Yeah. But I love spiritual baths. I like journaling.
I love them now.
Yeah, I love me a good spiritual bath. I like getting all my botanica stuff, making a blend, and doing that, you know.
Making a blend is awesome.
Yeah, I also journal.
Do you journal while you take a bath? I heard that's really good.
I heard you could, but I actually take a bath, clear my mind, and then I journal after.
I actually do like channeling. Like I channel journal, if that's the word. Do you know what I'm saying? So like I'll meditate and then I'll channel and I'll just write.
Oh, yeah.
So whatever just goes on the paper is basically like a message.
Right.
So it's really cool. It's really cool. It takes you to a dark place sometimes too, but like...
But it's good because you're purging it.
Yeah. It's like messages though that I just write. And
then you have like a book. It's like almost like a scrap.
Yeah.
You know, like when somebody's like, oh, this is the messages that came down to me. Yeah, you know what's funny? I haven't really tried that, but I should probably try that.
Yeah.
And see what just happens, you know?
It's almost like you're not writing.
Yeah, like I'm letting spirit write the story or write the narrative. Yeah. But yeah, baths is a big baths and candles to me is like my go-to. And like my Psalms book, like I will research something that relates. I forgot what Psalms I used last night, but it was a long one. And it was needed. And I did it before, like I said before, I did the shrooms, and it was just awesome. Like, because sometimes I feel like you just feel like, why? And I need to know why. I'm a person that needs to know why. I need some type of rationale to get to the next.
Well, I think that's why you're a nurse. Because you need to know how things work and why they work the way that they do.
Yes.
Yeah. You're very analytical in that way.
Definitely.
I believe that. And I could be like that too. But I feel like for me, it's not so much why. I feel like because I've tried to operate in my light for so long.
Yeah.
Not that it's a front, but it's almost like a protective barrier, like an armor.
Protective.
And it's like, girl, but you already protected, so just dive into the dark and see what you need to fix.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm doing it more. Like the last episode I mentioned, like my dark feminine was like really loud.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to like just let her speak. You know?
Yeah, and it's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad
thing. It's duality.
But for a long time, I'm like, that's a bad thing. Oh, it's like taboo. You can't do that. Not so much of that, but like in
I was actually watching. It's so funny because I was watching Good Moms, Bad Choices. I really like that podcast actually.
I love you guys.
Yeah, I love that podcast.
This, I love
that podcast. They kind of remind me of me and you.
Yeah.
And she
the very uncensored version.
Yeah, she was talking about how like because they're in this business, like they're of the podcasting and being sexual positive, that it's like it's hard sometimes for people to take you in as a real person.
Yeah.
They're like it's more like like your object, you know.
They justify you.
So I feel you on that because there is I'm not gonna lie. There's a certain type of person that will think they know you and know your story, but there's so many layers to you.
Woo!
You know.
Say it again.
There's so many layers.
So many layers.
And it's funny because like
onions, peeling them on back.
That's another thing for me. I feel like, you know, it's okay to be multifaceted.
Multifaceted, exactly. Woo! Take the shoe off, throw it at her. Yes.
Yeah.
You can be more than one thing, and you You can do more than one thing, and you can vibe with more than one thing and resonate with that. Like,
I am.
You don't have to, and you don't have to be one way. You don't have to be one way. Mm-hmm. You don't.
And those who will accept you will accept it. I mean, you're not here to
please anyone.
To please or to make somebody tolerate you, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like, if they just can't, if you're not.
If I'm not digestible to you, I'm just
that's
not
the word I was freaking looking for.
And that's okay.
And that's fine. But yeah, so I think to like tapping into shadow work also helps with that. Like, why do you care so much, right?
Yeah,
like,
other people. That's so true.
Why do you care so much? You're not for everybody. Not everybody likes tea. Not everybody likes coffee. Not everybody likes champagne. Not everybody likes freaking whiskey. Yeah. The fuck?
Yeah. It's
so, so it's like you gotta like connect that to regular life.
Yeah.
Right?
3D. Yeah.
You know?
So what are some misconceptions about shadow work that people may have, or that you had, and then you started doing it, and then you're like, oh, this is different than what I thought?
This might sound like, yeah, bitch, whatever, but like I've never had misconceptions about shadow work because I walked in shadow for so long.
Okay, no, that's valid.
Yeah, I never had, I think that my problem may be that sometimes I don't incorporate it as much, and I forget not so much forget what I've been through, but I forget like the feelings it gave me. Mm-hmm. So when I do feel overwhelmed, those are the things that come back. Mm-hmm. And that's what leads me to do shadow work. But I feel like the misconception is that it's easy.
Yeah. Okay.
That it's easy and that it's just like one thing.
Oh my God, that was what I was about to say. I was going to say my misconception is that when I did it for the first time, I was like, okay, it's going to be this one-time thing and I'm going to be healed. And then I did it and I was like, oh, there's layers to this shit. Mm-hmm. There's levels to this. Like, I need to keep doing this. And that's the thing about shadow work. That's what gets me. Is that you got to keep doing it.
And that's literally the point of it, because think about the iceberg, right? Because people always use this, right? Think about the iceberg, which people see what's on top. Mm-hmm. They don't even see all the freaking layers at the bottom. You know what I'm saying?
And also, we're ever evolving people, and we're always, like you said the other day, this stuck with me, that you're a person who likes to change your mind, right?
I am.
So think about that. As a person, you change your mind all the time, and you're always thinking something different, doing other things. Your mindset is always forever changing. So then your shadow work is always going to have to be consistent with your lifestyle and how you think and your mindset.
Yeah, and I think the Lord is gearing me up for a different chapter of my life right now that I probably never thought I would embark on right now. So I think that's what Spirit pulled me to doing the shadow work, because it's like you need to be healthy, like mentally and like spiritually and emotionally, and you need to you not so much keep up with it, but don't forget to dive deep. Yeah, I think sometimes when you're in the light so much, you kind of forget to dive deep.
Yeah, that's a good. Yes.
So
that is the main reason I do shadow work, because I forget to dive deeper.
Deeper. And we come from a lot of shit.
Weird, but it's weird because as we're like healers, right, for people, and we dive deep for other people, but then shadow work is really like spiritual hygiene too, because if you don't do that, you're not protecting yourself from other people's work.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
So diving deep, yes, but also to protect yourself in a way.
Definitely protect yourself.
Because when it comes to me, I got me too.
And so many, and then I also had to. I also learned too, right? Because I was doing a lot of protection stuff for a long time, right? And just clearing like negative energy. But it's like sometimes your lineage and your DNA can create. Not saying that my energy is like negative, but it can create negative vibrations. Okay, and I'm just trying to say
patterns
and repeat patterns and black patterns, and so yeah, I just feel like people think it's easy and it's one thing, and whenever you feel like you've done something, trust me, you'll be back again to do something again.
Yes,
there's so many times I had tower moments.
There's so much work to be done.
Yeah, and this week I was like, why I feel so low and depressed, and I was like, I know I got to do some work, but like I really got to do some work. Like I had to dig deep into like DNA. Like I'm like, let me go into the DNA of this, of this vibration, because I am fine. When you look at my life, I am like fine.
This anxiety thing.
It's like my shadows, literally, like my darkness and my shadows sometimes haunt me. And it's like, you've done so much. You've gone so far. Like, your parents weren't doing this at your age.
And that just made me have a download. Don't let people downplay your wins. No matter how little they are to other people, your win is your win, period.
And I think I downplay my wins, actually. So she's funny she said that, because I think
I do too.
I downplay my own wins. I don't think it's so much that people downplay my wins. I think I downplay my own because I never want to get comfortable or stagnant.
Well, in general, though.
Yeah.
Don't do that, y'all.
Yeah. I know that sometimes I'm like, oh, if I get too comfortable, then maybe I'm not going to do more, you know? Or I was talking to my sister. I was like, I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do next. She's like, well, girl, relax. Like, it'll come to you. Chill out, And that's the thing. Am I doing enough to get where I need to get? But I think I'm doing enough. Right?
Yeah.
So, did you talk about your rituals and what you do? We did, right?
Pretty sure I did.
And we did misconceptions.
Mine are pretty much the same. I love candles and I love baths.
So what prompts you usually?
So that actually, last night when I read that question, I'm like, I'm not even gonna lie, I don't know what prompts me, honestly.
I feel like you were gonna say that. I don't
know what prompts me. I just do it, and I feel like I haven't really figured it out yet. What it is. I just know I'm called and pulled to do it, and I need to do it. Just like the ancestral thing. For a long time, when I started my my spiritual journey in the first place, I never really did ancestral work. But I remember telling you, like, when I wanted to move out, I was like, I really just want an ancestor altar. Like, I don't know why, but I just need to do it. And then I came to Akina's house, and I was like, she has one. Oh my God, this is confirmation. I need to do it. So, when I moved out and I got my own place, I was like, I could set up camp now. Like, I can set up camp and do it. So I think that's part of my shadow work, is just doing the DNA work, and figuring out why the fuck is shit like this, and why do we do shit like this and stuff like that. But what prompts me, I don't know yet. I'll figure it out. I'll get there, but I just do it. I know I have to.
What prompts me? Pain.
Ooh.
Pain prompts me. Pain. So I know you gotta look at me like, she's really toned down. And I'm like, yeah, it's pain. Pain prompts me because I get into this, like, I feel alone in this rat race, or how come nobody...
Like an alien? Oh, I love that meme that you posted the other day.
The alien meme, me and my everyday suit. Yeah, like, me and my everyday...
It's so true, though.
I feel like an alien all the fucking time. Me too. Like, all the time. It's like, to the point where it gets depressing, because I'm like, don't people feel like... Why people don't... Sometimes, too, I have to stop, too, because I'm like, why people don't want to go as hard as I can? Like, I do all this, so I'm good. How come people around me don't want to be that good? Like, and it just sends me into this depressive state of, like, I don't know. It's like an abyss, like a dark abyss. And I have to, like, find the light to get back out, because it's like, you're fine.
You are fine.
You're fine.
And everybody's different.
Yeah, so...
Everybody's journey and path is different.
And I'm an extreme person. So I don't know if it has to do with my Ariesness or, like, my placements, and, like, I'm very extreme.
Yeah.
So I'm either really, really happy sometimes, or I'm really, really freaking emo.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're really good at hiding it, though.
I wouldn't say I hide it.
Well, not hide it, but you conceal it.
I seal it.
At least I don't see it.
Yeah, I seal it so people don't... I never want to put that negative energy on people, because, like, what the fuck? Go do your shit, and, like... Life is hard enough.
Yeah, it is.
So to complain about it to people who, I think the only person who really hears it is, like, Michael, because we have real deep talks about just life and where we see ourselves and where I see myself. I know he looks at me, be like, girl, you a crackhead for, like, success. Relax, like, I am really. I have to chill out, because I'm like a crackhead for, like, and it's not even to be rich. That's the crazy part, y'all. I have no desire to be rich. I have a desire to be comfortable
and have freedom.
That's my ultimate desire, to be comfortable.
Freedom is the real wealth.
And have freedom. To be able to work from anywhere, to be able to say, well, I don't feel like doing that this week.
Do what the fuck you want to do.
I'm going here and work,
I'm going to Bali and work.
Because I'm not even like I'm not even a designer buyer. Like, I don't buy designer.
I'm not a designer buyer.
I'm not.
You're not. She hates it, actually.
I don't even give a shit about that.
Don't forget her no Fendi.
They don't wear my... Well, that's funny. If I was to do designer,
it would be Fendi?
That's so funny you say that.
All right. Get some Fendi then.
Yeah, that's not even my thing.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I just want my kids to be good.
She just wants to be
And I don't even have any kids yet, but yeah, and I want my kids to experience the good life. I don't want them to know, I don't want to work as hard as we do. The fuck? Well, me. Shit.
Bitch, I be working hard too.
Yeah, and I'm like, how do my parents do this? How do they? I ain't doing to sit on 55, 60. Something got to hit. I can't do it.
Well.
What's she finna say?
Well. All right. So, how do you connect your inner child to the shadow work?
Well, like yesterday, I didn't know. Okay. So people don't really know that shadow work and inner child literally go together. So a lot of your shadow side comes from like things that were ignored when you were a kid, or that you didn't, or your parents missed, like kind of like what you said in the beginning, what they kind of like put to the side when you were growing up. So I'm a middle child. And it's funny because I heard somebody say, like, you know, you probably weren't emotionally supported like you needed to be when you were growing up, which is probably why I feel always like kind of like alone. I got to self-soothe. I was a self-soother, you know, because my mom would tell you, oh, you were the person that just needed your toy and you were good, like you were fine. So my inner child, I feel like has a lot to do with shadow work. And a lot of the times, like, you act the way you act because of those wounds from inner child that you didn't really face. If that makes sense. So you could face it with a counselor, you could face it with a healer, you could face it with yourself, but there's still aspects of your inner child that were probably neglected and ignored. And that's how it connects to your shadow work.
Yeah.
She's like, that's it. No rebuttal. So yeah, as much as shadow work is emotional, I do love it because every time you do shadow work, I feel like you feel better after.
Yeah, sometimes I feel better, sometimes I don't.
Really?
Yeah, because, I mean, but I think that's different for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's shadow work is different, and the reason that they do it is different. But I don't always feel good after I do shadow work. Sometimes it is sad and it's dark.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I just loathe doing it sometimes, because I don't know how I'm going to feel afterwards. It's always unpredictable for me.
Okay.
And so when it does pan out better than I expected, then great. Yeah, I'd be happy. But I know there's so much work there's so many things that I've been through that people don't know about me, and how my mind works and things that I pick up on. And so there's layers for it for me. There's layers. And yeah.
I always feel better because I cry a lot.
I mean, crying does make you feel better.
And I love to cry. I actually have a friend who's like, I don't cry, it makes me feel worse. Some people say they don't like to cry. Me, baby, since I was a yay high, crying. I cry, and I feel like I cry even more now because I feel like when I was younger, it was like, you don't need to cry. Why are you crying? And it was like, I was always an emotional person, like when I think about it. I just think I didn't have the not that they didn't know. I just didn't think I had the parents who knew how to nurture that. Because,
I definitely didn't have the parents who knew how to nurture
because
that.
They didn't have space to be emotional. It was, I said what I said, do what I do, and kids don't have emotions.
They were raised different. They were raised completely different. But a lot of my shadow work comes from like relationships.
I could see that.
Not like even romantic ones, just with people. And I have to dive deep and be like, why do people do the things they do to me? Why do they say the things they say to me? It's crazy. So I think that's where it comes from and how I reflect on them, because I'm just like,
so I always have an upper side to that. Do you ever think, because I know sometimes I'll be like that, but then I also go, well, what do I give off sometimes for people to do that?
No. No, because I know that my heart is pure. My heart is 100% pure. So,
but somebody might take that. Everything is perception.
That's their problem. That's why I don't have an issue with me and how I reflect things. Yeah. If you want to deflect it onto me that way, then okay. But then it's just how I interact with people, right? And how they perceive it. That's true. It's how they perceive whatever I'm giving off, which is their issue. It's their issue. I'm not gonna lie. It's not my fucking problem. And I don't know. I've dealt with people just like, it's kind of a little personal, but I've dealt with this particular situation of just, I feel like people are like, well, why? I feel like people think I'm a brat sometimes.
I could see that.
I feel like people could think I'm a brat, and it's like, but that's my life, not yours. Relax.
But I think that it's not explained. I feel like when we talk about it, it's understood. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the other end of it for me is I think people think that I'm a brat or a diva, right? So sometimes I ask you that because even though I used to be like, well, that's a you problem.
It is a you problem.
Hold on. But knowing me and how grandiose my personality can be, I know that I care the people I love, because if I don't care about you, I could give a shit.
Maybe that's what the problem is.
But if I love you and there's a misunderstanding in how I act, or there's a misconception or just a miscommunication, I want to understand why. Yeah. Because I love you. And I want to understand why, because I know that sometimes I could be brash. This is just me. Yeah. I know that sometimes I could be brash, and that even though it's love behind it, it may hit somebody's ears the wrong way. Or just my actions. Maybe sometimes people think I'm being selfish when really it's like, well, this is about me. It had nothing to do with you. Like this is why I did what I did.
But that's how I feel.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. And I feel like sometimes when you perceive things, that's how you perceive it. It's not so much that I'm giving it off that way. It's how it's hitting your ears and what you choose to digest in what I'm saying.
I feel like you're also trying to say, like, you should know my body, so you should know my intention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That and just, it's a lot for me. My shadow, like, I get deep too. Yeah. I get dark like that, and that's probably why I don't like doing it. Because when I get dark, I get very dark. Yeah. And I'm like, to the point where I don't recognize myself, kind of dark. And that's why I don't really love doing it that much, because I'm like, well, I try to operate in this way, but then it's like, well, bitch, do you really like this though? Deep down inside.
I'm definitely the purple emoji with the horns. Like, that is my trademark. Definitely the purple emoji with the horns. Definitely. Like I am cool, but like then I'm
like, honestly, y'all, even now talking about it is taxing for me.
Really?
Yes. It is. I'm going to be very honest. It is.
You know, there's a reason why I like rock and Evanescence and Linkin Park and all that. Incubus. Like,
I like Linkin Park. Evanescence is a Christian rock group.
Is because Evanescence?
I love Evanescence.
No, they're Christian rock.
Yes.
Not that dark shit.
Yes, they are. That's Christian rock. Yep. See?
Like Nickelback?
Yes. They're Christian rock.
They're How can you see?
Yes.
I gotta go back. Now I gotta re-listen. Now I gotta listen to different ears.
I gotta
live with now I gotta listen with Christian ears, with spiritual ears, because wow. What I was today's years old.
Yeah, spiritual tip. Go listen to Evanescence.
My sisters about this. Did you know this? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Excellente.
So if you didn't know, now you know.
Excellente. Well,
I knew he was going to do it.
So, yeah. I mean, I want to leave you guys. We want to leave you guys with something like a gem, because I think also too, like, nobody wants to do the work. I think that's why some people walk around on the surface. I can't do surface, but I know that's why people walk around and being like, going to the next thing, because nobody wants to face the shadow, because it's taxing. Like
it's so taxing. But we do it. We got to do it.
We do.
I think it's taxing, but I still do it because I know I have to do it.
And I just want to be a healthier person for myself. Not so much for everybody else, because I feel like I treat, like you said, I'm really good at kind of like not showing it. But I don't think it's on purpose. I just think I don't want to put that energy on people.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I take it to my home and I deal what I deal with.
Cry in the shower there.
And I cry. I'm a crier, y'all. I gets to cry. When you cry, we cry together. But on that note, so before we get out of here, we are the spiritual tip. So we want to leave you with a freaking spiritual tip, okay? We suggest, if you notice a pattern or a certain thought process, acknowledge it and set an intention to break it. Always give yourself grace and affirm yourself. It's okay to feel how I feel.
It's okay to feel how I feel.
The other disclaimer to this is, if it's too much to bear, of course, we always recommend you find a healer or a counselor, okay? Set your intention to break it.
We believe in therapy, y'all. We believe in therapy.
And affirm that it's okay to feel how I feel. You've been through a lot. We all have our own stories. No, it may not be as bad as the next person, but it's still your story. It's still your lineage. It's still your history. And to be better and break generational curses, you got to dig deep. Okay? You have anything to add to that?
What she said. What she said.
I definitely recommend, using I definitely recommend also to, if you want to dig a little deeper, find a shaman, find people that know about it. But I definitely approve of doing like mushrooms and stuff like that.
There's also this book called 7 Chakras. It has an actual workbook for shadow work to do.
Love it.
If you wanted
I think I have that book.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. You can buy it on Amazon. There's a hardbook cover. It goes like deep into the chakras because there's more than 7 actually, if you didn't know that. And but there's also a workbook attached to it, and you can do shadow work with it. So it's helpful.
Yeah,
it's helpful.
Yeah, and full moon was this week, so you can still get busy. You're still in the window of it. Oh wait, when you see this, you'll probably be over, but the full moon just passed. So yeah, I got busy. Use full moons to really cut, clear, and release.
All moon cycles actually. Really good.
Oh, if you I feel like I'm connected to new moon, but I'm always manifesting. So new moons hit me a little different, but full moons, oh my God! If you can't catch the new moon, at least try to commit to a full moon. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Full moons are cool.
This is a spiritual tip. Peace out.